Hey, another thing that I wanted to ask you about, and I know we've spent a lot of time talking about WWE. We are going to move on here, but Jim was in a unique position there for quite a while, and things are changing over yonder. So I wanted to bring it up. There's been a report come down that WWE is going to be scaling back house shows. I guess last year they ran close to 300 live events.
Wow.
This year they're going to run close to 250. Next year they're going to be closer to 200. I guess we've reached a point of diminishing returns, and there's been a paradigm shift where, I guess Vince ran these shows a lot of times in an effort to just break even.
Right.
And some of these shows were money losers. And as the contract values of talent go up and up, it probably does become a losing proposition. So if you're really just looking at the bottom line and trying to deliver shareholder value, I can understand the elimination of live events. However, I do think that that might mean the end of an era for professional wrestling. Like television wrestling is different from a non-televised event. Like when the TV cameras are there, hey man, the show is for them. And when the cameras aren't there, well, those shows are for the folks in the building. And so they're going to be able to have a little more fun, not have as hard of a time. And they don't have to worry about all the different beat points they have to have on the story. They can just have fun. And as a kid, some of the most fun I had at wrestling were the non-televised events where they were really playing to the crowd and getting the local cheap heel heat and the boos and interacting with fans in the crowd. And if WWE starts to lay off more and more of these house shows, and AEW is not even really running house shows right now, it might mean a larger change to just the way wrestling's being done. What do you make of this report that they're scaling back house shows?
Well, I can understand from a financial standpoint, they're expensive to run. You still got all those airplane tickets and all that stuff. So it's a challenging thing. But the key thing, I think, just for me, from my perspective, my background, it gives the talents a chance to get better. They're in the ring. It's a live scrimmage, shall we say? It's a preseason game. It's whatever you want to call it. But to me, it's a good thing to keep those talents busy and working. And I think you said, what did you say this year? They're going to do 200 house shows.
Yep, they're going to have not 200 house shows, including television. They're going to do 200 shows next year.
That's a lot of television.
It is a lot. It is a lot.
So I don't see it making a huge difference other than it gives your talent a chance to practice. And you're talking practice, and I am, because I think it's good. You also, some guys just are more comfortable on the road than they are at home. It's sad to say, but it's true. So I'm glad they're not eliminating the live events because they're needed to get your talent to improve and get better at what they do for a living. So I don't think we're going to, as fans, I don't think we're going to notice much difference. It's just they're not going to be so readily available, and that's never a bad idea to keep the fans wanting more. And so they've done a good job with that. They've done a good job with the live events. I don't know if they're making any money. I really don't. I hope they are, but for the talent's sake and the company's sake and all that stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see how that evolves.
There's a lot of other news and notes going on right now, but one of the things I wanted to bring to your attention, I'm not sure if you even saw it, but Kevin Nash had some comments about Logan Paul, and Logan Paul made a response video, and that all went viral, where Logan Paul was basically saying, in response to Kevin Nash's criticism of him and his lack of knowledge of wrestling and the gigantic contract he had, Logan was basically "F you, I don't even know who you are" to Kevin Nash. What'd you make of this exchange?
Shouldn't have been made public, I don't think. Who did it help?
Right.
It didn't help Logan Paul. So, and I don't know that it helped WWE. We're talking about it, so maybe it did, and we're just not acknowledging it. But I would have probably preferred, if I was involved in talent relations, for the talent should be smart enough not to light fires that they can't address. So in other words, Connie, they're shooting an angle that'll never happen.
Okay.
And that's a waste of time. There's a million things Logan Paul, who's still trying to get over, and he's a hell of a hand, but there's still I don't know how it helps everybody. And as you're doing something on your own, it shows you where Logan Paul's head is. But the issue is, this the old school guys would tell me, we're shooting an angle. I remember vividly one of the early times that we did interviews with Cornette, who had a birthday a few days ago. So happy birthday, Corny! But he's still brilliant. There's no doubt. Most brilliant manager I've ever been around. He and Paul Heyman. I had a lot of fun working with those guys. But Corny is special. There's no doubt he's very special. The first time I saw him wrestle in an angle, I was shocked of how good he was, and he is really good at that. Those days are gone, but nonetheless, I have great memories of them, and it adds to the Cornette legacy without question. I just love the guy. I know he's controversial, and he stirs up the shit, but that's the business he's in right now. He wants, like us, he wants people to tune in and click on and help us monetize our projects. So these things that we're doing are not cheap, and it costs money to do these deals. So it's insane to say that, but I miss a lot of the things Cornette did. He was great on the booking committees. Always had ideas, and he added, believe it or not, he added logic to what we were doing, because he understood the business, understood the art of being a villain and being a hero, and the qualifications that are needed in both those two distinctly different eras or jobs. So I'm as you can tell, it's a little belated birthday, thanks, but Corny's been a great contributor to the business for years, and I know he stirs the shit, and so be it. Doesn't bother me, because he's not doing anything other than getting clicks. And his website and his podcasts are very successful, so good for him, and he's going to be. He's a Hall of Fame guy. Whether he makes it or not remains to be seen. You talked about the credits a moment ago. One of the reasons that the credits weren't used is the bookers didn't want the notoriety to go to anyone other than them. I remember. Do you remember when UWF had the graphic up that said presented by Cowboy Bill Watts, or
Yep.
And it was only Bill got on the credits.
Yep.
So and that was just the booking. Look at the Von Erich situation. They had sometimes they'd run credits and sometimes they wouldn't. It seems to me, like from memory, but this I think it was a booker thing. Egocentric bookers didn't want anybody else to get credit for the creative on the show when it was a team effort. But Cowboy wasn't ready to change into that modern era of that.
Let's talk a little bit about some of the other news and notes that are happening right now. And one of the things I've seen even this morning as we're recording is that Sheamus has re-upped with WWE. Given the run that WWE is on right now, I'd be surprised if a lot of talent weren't interested in sort of re-upping there. But at the same time, I wonder, do you think that the pay scale might change now with TKO leadership? Like, that hasn't been a report we've heard that guys are getting quote unquote low balls. No one has said that or suggested that. But people who went through this corporate takeover, if you will, of UFC several years ago, that was their experience. They reported that, hey, they put us all in these Reebok kits and we could no longer sell our sponsorship on our trunks and our fight gear. And that was a big source of revenue. And we haven't really heard that yet from TKO. Do you think that, it's going to take something larger to the industry like AEW or what have you to affect the pay scale? I know you helped negotiate a lot of those contracts. I'm wondering where you land on, this TKO initiative and how it might change.
Well, the monies are and WWE right now are subject to discussion, but the guys got big guarantees. So, and they get those checks every week or every other week when they're paid. So I don't see a big issue in that. They got their name on a contract. It's all on paper. They know what they're getting, and I think that's a good thing.